Real quick before I start this video, I made a Discord server. So if you're interested, go ahead and join it. The link is in the description. I also tweeted on Twitter, but yeah, let's get into the video. Welcome everyone to another Minecraft video. Today we are going to be ranking the Bedwars maps. Yes, we're going to be making a tier list of all the Bedwars maps. I'm only going to be doing the maps that I've played, so like all the old Halloween maps and stuff that I've never played on are not going to be rated. But yeah, sit back, relax, let's get into the video. So we're going to start this off with Lotus. I never played on this map the first time it was removed, but the second time it was added, you know, I played on it a few times, and I actually really enjoyed this map. I just have a few gripes with it. One of them being the tall grass that they have. Even though they changed it to single high, it's still annoying when you try to place blocks there, and it doesn't let you place blocks there. But that's really the only issue I have with it. Mobility is pretty good. I guess you never know who's going to rush you. It is like the perfect size, has some obstacles, but that's okay. Gen times seem to be near perfect for this map. Like, I think this is like the perfect speed that gen should work at. And one nice thing is that you could fireball jump from this little island to mid. And then also from mid back to the island. So like if you're out of blocks and you need to get away from someone, perfect way to do it right there. Doesn't take too long to complete a game on this map. And yeah, I think I would put Lotus in the A tier. The next map that kind of had the same deal as Lotus is Playground. This map was removed a while ago, but then recently re-added. This map in theory isn't too bad. Like you can go to mid pretty easily with only like 10 blocks, and you can get back without any blocks. But the problem with it is it's a lot of empty space. At mid, there's this huge structure, which is literally pointless. I think it would have been cool if they would have put the emerald gens in there so you could parkour to it, but they didn't. They put it in the corners of the giant square. I also don't like the diamond gen placement. It's slightly off center, so you have to like diagonally bridge when you want to rush someone to like be efficient on blocks. And then once you do take out your first rush, it's really easy to get to other bases, which kind of sucks, but like, you know, if you're playing really fast, it's also really fun. Overall, there's not much to say about this map other than it's kind of ugly. I would put this in the C tier simply because it's playable, but if I can avoid playing on it, I definitely will. Now, the third map that was recently re-added after being removed a while ago is Crypt. Now, the one problem I have with this map is you can be rushed in two ways. You can be rushed through the little middle island that connects, or you could be rushed diagonally. But that's not the biggest issue with this map. The biggest issue I have with this map is the diamond gen location. It's just out of the way. It's almost impossible to get to usually if you're going fast. And it's just kind of pointless. But mid is fairly close. Mid is fairly condensed. And overall, it's not a bad build. I think it's really cool that you play at nighttime. So I'm also going to put Crypt in the C tier. Simply because I just don't think it's worthy of anything higher. Like I said, if I can avoid playing on it, I will. But if I like randomly join a lobby and play on this map, I'm not going to be against it. Okay. Now we're on to the new maps. When I say new maps, I mean like brand new, never before played other than a few months ago when they were added. Yeah. So the first new map, Biohazard, was released a little bit before the other new map, Babylon, but we're talking about Biohazard. This map has grown on me. When I initially played on it, I made a video saying I hated it and it was going to be one of the most hated maps on Hypixel. But it's actually grown on me a lot. You rarely have to diagonal bridge. Diamond gens play strategically, so you have to go through it if you want to rush your second rush. The only gripe I have with this map is it's a little bit too big, but otherwise it's actually a really cool looking map. There's like green glass, like is a biohazard spilling out over the map. I think that's really cool. And then once you get to mid, it's kind of a pain just because it's really cluttered. But it's overall not too bad to get like from mid to other bases. Like you won't be rushed from mid because it's like a 64 block build to any base from mid if they haven't actually built to mid. But the industrial theme of the map really grew on me. One thing that the map does have going for it is the fast iron gen, which actually works really well on this map, especially with fireballs and just getting tools straight away. And it's only a 64 block rush, like it's not 64 and 16, which is nice. So you can really get over there really fast. I'm going to put Biohazard in the B tier, mainly because it's a little bit big for my liking, but it's absolutely playable. Now this next map is really something else. So Babylon is the most recent map, and I for one am not a fan. The biggest issue with this map is it's just way too big. You can barely make it to the other base in 64 blocks. Most people don't do that. They go through the diamond gen. But then once you get there to your diamond gen, if you build up even slightly, you need to go back for blocks to actually make it to the other base, like to get above him. With that being said, games usually take forever on this map, and this results in a lot of people just camping in their gen, you know, getting a huge defense, making it like impossible to break if they're somewhat competent at PvP. The one thing that the map does have going for it is it's really pretty to look at, and I feel like this map could work really well if it was less cluttered with all these random islands and slightly smaller. I really like mid because it's condensed, not too much clutter. really easy to get emeralds. But once you actually get to mid, it's kind of hard to get anywhere else. You might be able to fireball jump between diamond gen and mid. I haven't tried it. Definitely possible though. However, because of the size of this map, I'm going to put it in the unplayable tier. If I join on this map, I will very rarely play it. I will almost always leave. But yeah, that's my opinion on Babylon. Now we're going to get into the territory of some of the maps that have been around ever since I've been playing. They've been around for a while. And I think a pretty OG map is Airshow. Airshow I kind of have a love-hate relationship with. It's a really fast map, and especially if you're playing with really good players, the games will go by really fast. But I think everything is placed really well. You know, building to people is not that bad. I'm pretty sure you can 64 block rush if you're pretty sparing with your blocks. That being said, you have to go through the diamond gen to get to the second base, which I don't like very much at all. But after you take out your first rush, you can basically gauge to see who else is taking out the first rush and then rush them to make sure they don't rush you, which is nice. The little balloons between each like little cluster of blimps is nice because it makes it really easy to get to other areas of the map without using too many blocks. I personally really like mid here because you have to place blocks to get to some of the gens. I know it sounds like kind of counterintuitive, but I like it just because, like, especially if you're trying to get away from someone, you can build a wall, or if you're chasing someone, it's pretty easy to follow them if they're just building normally. The gen is a bit slow on this map, but otherwise, for it being a classic, I'm going to put Airshow in the A tier. Amazon is one of those maps that's very eh. I really like how easy it is to take out your first rush. It's just a straight build over to the other guy. You will very rarely be diagonally rushed. It's just as straightforward as that. And then after you take out your first rush, you have to go through the diamond gen to get to the second base, which I like. I actually really like that. Now, the one problem that is a huge problem for me on this map is mid. Mid is just huge. If you break someone's bed and they manage to escape to mid, you're not going to catch them. They're going to get 8 emeralds and they're going to go invis and, you know, get an ender pearl. They're going to do that to you. There's literally nothing you can do about it unless you get lucky and kill them. Gen is a bit slow on this map for my liking. I'm pretty sure it's standard speed, but it's, you know, a bit slow for this map considering how many blocks you need to bridge, but there is no diagonal rush at all, which is nice. My only problem is mid is just massive. But overall, it's a pretty decent, it's a pretty average looking map. And playability's, you know, pretty average, so I put it in the C tier. Next map is Dragon Star. I used to be a pretty big fan of this map, but more and more recently, I've started to hate it even more. Mid is just really, really easy to get to, and when it comes to being rushed, you could either be diagonally rushed or diamond gen rushed, which sometimes results in you being rushed by both people. Also, mid is pretty big. And the map overall is just a really ugly build. Like, it uses this theme of fire, but then brown and gray accents, which I mean makes sense, but it was not that well executed. If you do somehow manage to take out your first and second rushes without being rushed through the diamond gen or sideways, then you basically have the game in the bag. But the overall playability of this map, I just think it's a little too for me. Mid is kind of split up where one emerald gen is like on the way opposite side and the other two are like right next together, which is kind of strange. But yeah, gen speeds are a bit fast, which is, you know, kind of normal for this map. But however, with all that being said, I'm going to put Dragon Star in the D tier. Now the next map is Holo. This map is actually not half bad in terms of like playability, but in looks it's very basic. It's literally like a overworld theme. It's just basic. It's very basic. But the one thing that this map has going for it is I think everything is perfectly distanced. I think mid is like the perfect size. Diamond gen's like a perfect distance away from bases, so like it's not impossible to get to. Like you'll definitely go to it after you take out your first rush. Bases aren't that far apart, but you will never be diagonally rushed on this map. Sometimes you will be mid rushed, but that's very rare. It's a very small map, but it is really easy to get emeralds on, which kind of sucks. Overall though, it's really fun to play on, but I don't think it's A or S tier worthy, so I'm going to put this in the B tier. Now the next map is Lighthouse. Oh man, this map is just interesting. So it's basically Soulless, just reskinned as a Lighthouse, and mid is slightly different. So a lot of really good players like to play on this map just because of how fast it is and how easy it is to get from places. I think the gen speed on this map is just perfect. The distance between bases and diamond gens is perfect. Distance between mid is really good too, because once you make it there, you have to bridge a little bit more to get there. And then once you get to emeralds, they're spaced out pretty well. The map overall looks really good, and as long as you can take out the guy to your left and your right, you'll basically win the game. Lighthouse is going to be the first map that I put in S tier because I really like playing matches on Lighthouse, and I feel like I win most of my games on Lighthouse. Congratulations to the map Lighthouse. So next map that I want to talk about is Orchestra. Now basically on this map, forget about your bed and just start rushing people. This is a 32 block rush. You can really get the jump on your first rush. The one gripe, and it's actually kind of helpful to me, but like it's kind of a gripe also. You're basically at mid once you do your first rush. But with that being said, it's really easy for people to rush you and take your bed. However, mid's like the perfect size. The gen, I'd say it's pretty average, but you don't need like a fast gen for a map like this. I think it's a really cool theme of like musical where the islands are pianos. There's like music notes in the sky at above the diamond gens. Diamond gens aren't out of the way either. If you're going to do your second rush, you go through the diamond gen. But yeah, Orchestra is a really fun map to play on. I really like to play on this map. And back-to-back S tier ratings. Orchestra, congratulations. You have made it to the S tier. Joining Lighthouse as the other map in the S tier. Now, the next map is a little controversial. I know some of you aren't going to like where I put it. It's Pernicious. I think this has one of the fastest gens out of any map. This is, I think, the first Bedwars map ever made. Or one of the first. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, this map is a classic. You usually go through the diamond gen to rush people, but you could also be rushed from the side. And I don't know, there's something about this map that I just don't love. You can fireball jump between mid and diamond gen, which is cool. But I think the main rush is just kind of where it gets me. Because you could be double rush on this map, which sucks. And the map is really ugly. It's literally made with mycelium, I think that's what it's called. It's a purple block. And then green. And then a bunch of dead trees all over the place. I know some people would put this in S tier, but I'm actually going to put it in C tier. Mainly because of the fact that it's not the best map to play on, in my opinion. Another fairly OG map, Rooftop. Also not my favorite map. I feel like the gen is a little slow for how big this map is. But the odds of being double rushed are very low, which is good. The one thing that I really don't like is how you have to build up to the diamond gen to take out your first rush. You have to build up a pretty good amount too. And then it really depends on who's higher by the time you get to the diamond gen for who's going to win the battle of, you know, taking out your first rush. Now, with all that being said, I think the design is really cool. It's like a bunch of skyscrapers. Mid is like the perfect size. I like how there's one emerald gem on top, one on bottom, and you have to go to the other set of towers to get the second emerald gem. And then actually getting between bases is pretty basic. Also just like how it is on Airshow. This map is but it has its quirks. So I'm going to put Rooftop in the B tier. Now, the second to last map in the current active rotation is Soulless. This map is just a very basic map. I think this is the Walmart version of Lighthouse. It's a decent build. It's very basic. Mid is huge. I hate how big mid is. You'll just be chasing someone down almost forever. The diamond gen is slightly elevated, so you have to build up to the diamond gen. Taking out your first rush is easy enough. I'll play on this map, but I don't love it. Gen's a bit slow, and it's just a very basic map for me. I'm going to put Soulless in the D tier. There's not much else to say about it. And then the final map in the current active map rotation is Speedway. This is another map that you can be double rushed on, but honestly, it's not the end of the world if you are, because you can kind of hope that the person double rushing you is also getting double rushed. Anyways, I really like this map based on how mid is broken up. You can't get to mid straight from bridging there. You have to bridge a little bit extra to get to the emeralds. But it's really unique the way that this map is built. It's a giant twisting racetrack. The bases are like little pit stops. And yeah, if you do happen to lose your bed, it's pretty easy to get emeralds because most people don't get emeralds on this map. I really, really like the design of this map. I really like how it looks. Speedway is going to be in A tier for me. Okay, now we're on to the removed maps. Ashfire was recently added, but then also really quickly removed. I understand why. This map is one of the first maps I ever played on when I started playing Bedwars. And it's trash. You can't play on this map. However, it is slightly better than its counterpart, Krogorm. The build is very ugly, but mid isn't too terrible. Kind of hard to reach, but I guess that means you don't have too many obby people. I'm going to give this map the benefit of the doubt. It is the slightly better of the two awful maps. So instead of putting it in unplayable, I'm just going to put it in F tier, because I did occasionally play on it. The only quirk that these maps have for them is their lightning fast gens. Krogorm is just such a trash map. I don't even know why I'm talking about it. It's ugly. Mid is way too big for how big the map is. Rushing people is either diagonal through the back of the base or through the diamond gen. Both take tons of blocks. Lightning fast gen is a plus, but no one likes to play on this map. I hated playing this map. I think this was the first map I've ever played on. It was awful. But yeah, Krogorm, you are now a member of the unplayable tier. Welcome to the bottom. Zarzul was removed at the same time as Ashfire and Krogorm, and I think this was actually the better map. It was also added at the same time, I think. I'm not 100% sure. But this was definitely the better map. I don't know what it was about this map, but I really liked rushing people on it. I almost never went to mid because I never had to. The only issue with it is Diamond Gen was always out of the way. The gen was really fast, which was awesome. But yeah, just because of the fact that Diamond Gen was almost pointless to go to, I'm putting Zarzul in the C tier. Mainly because if I, logged on to Zarzul, I totally play it, and I probably win. Now, a slightly older map that was recently removed is Glacier. Basically a frozen version of Holo. Glacier, you know, it was kind of a map, but I had a really good time playing on it. I've got a few recordings, I think, on it. Mid was a very good size. The build is beautiful. It's a nice snowy map. I think a lot of people actually really did like this map. It's really basic. I mean, but I personally really like playing on it. At one point, I actually considered it my favorite map, but then I was just kind of like, eh. There's other maps out there that are slightly better, you know, as I got more and more experience in Bedwars. But yeah, it basically has all the same attributes as Holo. So I'm going to put this with Holo in the B tier. Waterfall was removed at the same time as Glacier, and this map was known for having the biggest gen out of any map. You could just run forever. Usually rush people through Diamond Gen, which, you know, it's not that far out of the way. I think it's really cool that it's under the mid island, but that means it's really easy to get to mid. The main gripe with this map is that mid is way too big. Taking out your first rush was easy enough. The gen speed, you know, was just fine for the size of the map. Looks wise, I think it's really cool that it's like a waterfall, but I think they totally could have executed it a little bit better. I didn't love playing on this map, so I'm gonna put waterfall in the D tier. So I think that's all of the current maps and the recently removed maps. Let me know if I missed any in the comments below. But I actually did play on the 2 Easter maps this year, so I'm going to rate those in this video. The first one of the 2 is Egg Hunt. This is definitely the slightly worse Easter map because it's just way too cluttered. Like, if you look at it, the clutter is definitely there. Mid is very confusing. And rushing people, you had to go through the middle island. It's basically like a small Lotus, a very small cluttered Lotus. I didn't love this map, but I also did not hate it. But I also did not love it. Not even close. This map belongs in the D tier. Now the final map that I'm rating today is Easter Basket. This map was known for its lightning fast gen. You could literally get to the other base in like 20 seconds. Diamond gen is in a very pointless position, which, you know, kind of sucked because you almost never had diamond upgrades. Mid was, you know, pretty small, but pretty reasonable. However, there was this random like stem thing that connected the diamond gen and mid pretty easily, so it wasn't that hard to actually get to mid and actually gave diamond gen kind of a point in going to. But like I almost never went to diamond gen. I didn't like this map because you could be rushed almost instantly. I was also not amazing back then, but you know. I think Easter Basket belongs in the F tier. I'd play it, but it was just not a good time. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I know it was a bit long, but hey, those are my honest opinions on the current and old maps. Anyways, if you like this video, you might like this video. So hey, go ahead and click on it. But until next time, my name is _Gomi. Peace out.